Hey everybody, welcome to our very first ever Mondays with Molly. Every week, Molly Dean is gonna spend a couple minutes chatting with me, Andrew Kosselman, her loan partner, about some different pieces of information that we think you might find useful in this crazy housing market. So thanks for sitting down with me, Molly.
Hi everyone, thank you.
I was thinking we could talk about how folks can get ready to find funds for down payment and closing costs. It seems to be a topic that, especially for first-time home buyers, can be a bit of a burden, and they think, I don't have enough to get into a house. So maybe you could spend just a couple minutes talking about some avenues of down payment and closing costs that people might not think about when they're getting ready to buy a home.
Well, one of the things that people forget about is there are programs that can assist with that. MHDC on the Missouri side, Chenoa, both on Kansas and Missouri, and various things like that. Those do have stricter requirements, so the credit score requirements are a little bit higher and the debt ratios are a little bit lower, and they do encompass a little bit different rate than the standard market. Obviously, we go through that when we get an application. But side note from that, a couple things that we've been utilizing a lot lately, things that people don't realize, and COVID kind of opened a lot of that up, was the utilization of 401k. So people didn't realize that they could really use that until COVID kind of talked about it. Like, we're in a time where we need some additional funds, you can utilize your 401k. People didn't realize is that buying a home is actually considered a hardship, crazy as that sounds, and you can do a hardship withdrawal on a 401k at any time and only pay a 10% penalty, as opposed to the standard penalty to withdraw funds. That's if you do a straight withdrawal. You can also do just a loan where you're paying interest back to yourself.
Which is how I bought my house.
Right, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's something people don't realize they can do, where you borrow money basically from your own retirement that you've paid in. It's your cash you've paid yourself. You're borrowing against it. You can't borrow as much necessarily as you can with the hardship, but there's way less of a penalty, almost none, and then you're paying yourself back essentially with interest the entire time.
Yeah, the idea on the interest is that once you've paid your loan back, you have all of the money that you would have had if you never took out the loan, because you're recouping it through the interest you're paying yourself.
And typically the fee to do that is minimal to non-existent.
Exactly, most times $75.
What are some other ways people can find money for a down payment? Maybe they don't have a 401k, or maybe the 401k just isn't enough to get them there.
Gift funds, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister. Employers can even gift too. We have a lot of employers that have stepped up this last year that have done gift funds for their employees. So things like that, family, friends, it all just depends on the program, but gift funds are utilized a lot for down payment. Offset some appraisal waivers, some closing costs, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And with the different loan programs that we'll spend more time talking about in the coming weeks, you'll find that you might not need as much probably for your down payment or your closing costs as you thought you did when mom and dad bought a house 20, 30 years ago. So we'll probably talk about that in the coming weeks. But I love that last little bit you said about how employers can give money occasionally too. You know, we'll have conversations with people sometimes where we'll say, is there a family member or a friend who might be able to help you out with this transaction? And they'll say, no, you know, my family's my coworkers. Well, you know, sometimes an employer, like you said, can step up and provide those gift funds as well. A little different rules, but something obviously we'd be happy to talk about with our borrowers. So
Yep.
That was our first ever Mondays with Molly. Thanks everybody. We look forward to doing this with you every Monday for the foreseeable future, hopefully. So have a great week.